is the University of Michigan.
Touchdown, Michigan!
Midcourt extra pass.
And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole!
Down the sideline! Peoples-Jones! Touchdown, Wolverine!
All right, welcome back to Blue by 90. It is February 8th, Monday after the Super Bowl. The Bucs obliterated the Chiefs last night. Tom Brady, the GOAT, onto his 7th ring. What was the stat? Is he has more rings, Super Bowl rings, than 18 NFL teams combined.
It's insane.
That is an absurd stat.
Didn't it say that he had more rings than any NFL team?
Yeah. Well, because the Patriots are second.
Right, the 6, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
He won the Patriots every single one that they had won, and then he got another one. He literally just spun the wheel, threw a dart, and landed on a team and said, "Hey, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you want to go to the Super Bowl? Let's do it." And he goes out and wins it. And it wasn't even a competition.
He's got 7 more than the Lions. Tell you that much.
Yeah, I wish he would have landed in Detroit instead of Tampa Bay.
No shit. Exactly. Except Gronk was the one who escaped going to the Lions by faking retirement, right?
Fucking Gronk, yeah.
Oh God. So I mean that was a pretty fun game, even for it being 31-9, which is like a blowout. The second half wasn't fun, but the first half was pretty fun to watch. I thought it was kind of back and forth, but
nice little Michigan tie-in. I was getting vibes of early in the season with the DBs grabbing on a lot of those wide receivers.
Dude, there were some bad calls in that game, though. I feel like not the Patriots. Jesus Christ, just getting used to Brady being on the Patriots. I feel like the Bucs got a ton of penalties called for him on the
there were a couple
on the Chiefs. There's some weak calls there.
There were some phantom grabs, I thought, or phantom PI calls. So, whatever. But yeah, that was. I mean, still, it's still fun. I know we haven't had a whole lot of luck with being Michigan fans lately, but it's really nice to always just be able to lean back on Tom Brady and have him be, our savior here. And of course, JJ McCarthy is going to turn into Tom Brady, right?
Dude, it's February.
Let's get the hype train rolling.
Yeah, I got to be bought in now.
Let's set the standard now, set the expectations that high so that if JJ's not Tom Brady, then that'll be a disappointment. So
let's just change our name to Hype Train Podcast.
My God. I hate us. I hate just us Michigan fans. Jesus Christ, we're the worst.
All right. So I do have one question for you guys, though. And that is, it's regarding Tom Brady. And I wanted, I think there was some chatter on Twitter, of course, of people that are like, well, Tom Brady, the GOAT in the NFL, but he didn't do anything at Michigan, right? He didn't win anything. He didn't do anything at Michigan, blah, 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 blah. So my question for you guys is, let's say Tom Brady, take 21-year-old Tom Brady, who was at Michigan, and put him in 2021. So we'll say his 1998, 1999 seasons, junior and senior seasons when he was the starter. Would you call that a successful season as the quarterback of Michigan in 2021, or is he a guy that we're booing off the field, or a guy that we're just even just disappointed in? Because I'll read off his stats. In 1998, his junior year, he had a 61% completion percentage for 2,400 yards, 14 TDs and 10 picks. And then in his senior season, 61% completion percentage for 2,200 yards, 16 TDs, 6 picks. So nothing crazy, right, in terms of stats. And then Kalen, you had his what he did in those seasons, right?
Yeah. So in 1998, they lost to Notre Dame, and they lost to Ohio State, and then in 1999 they lost to Michigan State, but they beat Ohio State and they beat Alabama in a bowl game.
So were they 10-3 both years?
Making me go all over
I'm sorry.
sportsreference.com here. In 1999, they were 10-2.
In 98, they were 10-3.
Correct.
Okay. So 10-win season, 2 as the starter. He's 20 and 5, right? And he has as a starter, what is it? In terms of interceptions, so he had 30 touchdowns and 16 interceptions. So what do you think? Is that like put that in 2021? Are we like, yes, that is amazing, or is that average, or is it like, no, super big disappointment? You wouldn't be happy with it.
I mean, when I look at it, I think everything's just shaped around, did you beat Ohio State and did you win your bowl game? And in the 99-2000 season, right? Like he beat Ohio State and he beat Bama in the Orange Bowl or Citrus Bowl, whichever one it was. And that's what, like, where I feel bad for Shea Patterson. And I'm sure, like, I've said like either good or bad things about him, but he gets a lot of the flack that, you know, he never beat Ohio State. They never won a bowl game. And he was a pretty good, I mean, he put up solid numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, there's kind of like two parts to that question, right? Like, was Brady successful in retrospect? Like, yeah, 100%, right? Because exactly for the reasons Jack just said. Would he be successful in today's game? That's a bit different, right? Because the game is just so different now than it was then. And guys like Shea Patterson, who frankly have better stats than Brady did then, we consider not successful for, you know, some tradition level reasons.
Right.
So it's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's look at what Shea Patterson did against Ohio State, right? On the offensive side of the ball. I mean, in 18 they scored 39, right?
Not bad at all.
No, and then what they scored 23, I think, in 19 or something like that. So that's not crazy good, but like I feel like you don't put those Ohio State losses on Shea Patterson, right?
No.
You put it on Don Brown in the defense. So I don't know. I think that it is kind of apples to oranges just because I mean, these games are 20 years apart, right? So it's obviously different, but I just think that it's kind of funny that Michigan fans will back Tom Brady's career at Michigan all day long, but then they'll shit on Shea Patterson or, you know, or somebody like that. Or I'm saying if Tom Brady did exactly what he did in 98 and 99 here in 2021, he'd be shit on all day. But now everyone wants to back him up.
Yeah, want to ride his coattails, dude.
Yeah,
riding his coattails.
If Tom Brady never did anything in the NFL, we'd never talk about him as like a standout Michigan guy, right?
No, I mean, I think we could go back to like a solid season, like beating Bama and Ohio State that year. But yeah, no, he wouldn't get talked about the way he does now. Not even close.
Yeah, even though like in 99, they finished that year ranked 5th in the AP poll. And in 98, they were 7-1 in the Big Ten. And I believe they might have went to the Rose Bowl in 98, I think. So
they played Arkansas.
Yeah. So like I mean, we haven't been to a Rose Bowl here in how long, right? So it's like, I don't know. I had to bring that up to you guys because I thought it was kind of interesting that, and obviously Michigan fans they have to bat when Michigan State and Ohio State fans are like bashing Michigan for, you know, oh, Tom Brady didn't do anything. We obviously are going to back our guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's just kind of funny because of how, like you said earlier, Kalen, too, like I think he got booed off the field his last game at Michigan. But now it's like, oh, he's our man. Michigan man through and through.
We'll forget about that. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think that it's a little bit just like all about, all right, hey, let's not have those crazy expectations like I just said for JJ, right? Like 10-3, if your quarterback has decent stats and it can lead you to a 10-3 year, it's pretty damn good, right? Jim Harbaugh's been 10-3 3 times out of his 6 years. So I don't know.
Yeah. The key to Michigan's football, outlook of a good season or a bad season, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Just move Ohio State to game 1 and get it over with. Because then at least you can have a positive trajectory to the end of the season. It can change a lot. I say move the game, and that'll change everything for Michigan. I think it will.
Yeah,
You still got to beat them, though.
Not necessarily.
Well, you're never going to win the Big Ten if you don't beat them. So
true.
I don't know,
but still, it feels a lot better if Michigan goes undefeated in, October, November, than going undefeated in September.
True.
Yeah, I see it as like they've given Jim Harbaugh kind of a longer trajectory with some of the like coaching hires, right? So like, because he has so many new younger coaches who've never called plays and some of those things, they've bought into this plan of like, okay, it's going to take maybe 2 or 3 years to really like launch this whole thing. So I see like this year winning maybe like 8 or 9 games, but in the next couple years, like that building towards something.
So let me ask you this question though, because one thing that I look at these hires that Jim Harbaugh has made is it's a little bit of a work in progress, kind of like you just alluded to, Kalen, right? Like these aren't guys that are going to come in and they may make a splash in the recruiting like we've already seen, but are they going to, get wins for Michigan right away? I don't know. I don't think these are hires that are just going to win now. But doesn't Jim Harbaugh kind of have to win now to win back this fan base and the trust of everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I want him to win now. Don't get me wrong, but I think that the boosters and some of the higher up execs, he's kind of got them to buy into this longer trajectory plan, and I think they've definitely like identified the talent gap between Michigan and Ohio State, and so that's why you see him hiring like ace recruiters and trying to really identify some of these like young up and comer type guys. And so he's putting a lot of money on, some of these young guys, turning into diamonds, and we'll kind of see how it goes. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah. And even, I mean, as long as these guys can recruit and bring in talent, at least you can kind of like have something to fall back on and hope they just play well if you're not that great of a coach. So I don't know. I mean, seeing 4-stars come into the D-line and secondary brings some optimism for sure. With Nua, it seems like it's a whole different guy now with Don Brown gone. Whether we can relate it to that or not.
What was that about?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
But
let's talk about that real quick. Tell me, so there's all this talk on Twitter about Don Brown handcuffed Sean Nua and he was holding him back from recruiting these guys. What does that mean? You're telling me Sean Nua came to Don Brown and said, hey, I've got this 4 or 5-star D tackle, absolute stud. I want to recruit him. And Don Brown's like, nah, I'm good. No, thanks. What? Tell me how that works.
Is it a coincidence, or do we actually think
it's got to be a coincidence?
I mean, I think it's just got to be a coincidence, but it is pretty fucking crazy. Like he goes from no 4-star tackle recruits or no recruits in general. Like, I don't know which one it is, and then he's got 2 in like 3 days. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what to make of that. And like, it's one of those things too, where I'm like, I was on the podcast talking all kinds of shit about Sean Nua. We need to get rid of him. All this bullshit. Yeah, but it's like, you know, I'll say it. I was wrong, right? He can obviously recruit the hell out of, you know, wherever he's at. Maybe I'm thinking like maybe Don Brown had some specific type of guys he was looking for to run his defense, and he was telling Nua like, these are the kind of guys I want, and Nua was going after those types of guys. Versus now, maybe Mike McDonald's like, hey man, you're a big Polynesian dude. Go get big Polynesian dudes or whatever, you know, like.
It makes sense to me. I mean, I understand there's some scheme things, right? Where Don Brown probably wanted the right guys to fit for his schemes, but like, I don't know many schemes where a big D tackle that can plug things up doesn't fit into, right? That helps. Right. To me, Don Brown's whole thing is having the edge guys fly around. You know what helps make it easy for the edge guys to be able to fly around? Guys in the middle who plug the shit up, you know? So that's where I'm just so confused. And you know, I don't get it. I do think that Don Brown had some stubbornness, and maybe he was just like, all right, the Northeast is the pipeline and all that stuff. But man, you would think that when you're going through the recruiting cycle and when you're watching your team play, you're like, hey, we're missing a couple things here. And it's some big dudes in the middle to help us out. You'd think he'd say, all right, Sean, go do your thing. Right. But that's just weird to me.
Yeah, hopefully it works out, right? Some of these guys, and we can move into signing day and kind of talking about some of the guys that Sean Nua definitely hit on.
Yeah, so I mean, all in all, this signing class was really good. Let's think about all the shit that Michigan went through in 2020, right? 2-4 season. Harbaugh, you never like. It's like we didn't know if he was going to be here for how long, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, like there's just. I mean, I thought that this class was going to be a shit class. I just assumed it was going to be a shit class with everything that was going on.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I thought that we were going to lose quite a few guys. We ended up only losing the one linebacker to Maryland, right? Pretty much. But yeah, I mean,
the guy from like Boston or New England or something.
I think so.
Don Brown recruited. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you lose like 3/4 of your staff and still keep this class together. And at the end, you land George Rooks, 4-star D tackle, and then you flip Rayshawn Benny on signing day. And so that puts you into a top 10 class. And so like with a 5-star quarterback still and a 4-star running back and Donovan Edwards and Xavier Worthy. And so, I mean, damn, like I don't want to get back on the like hype train.
We can't resist it.
But like this has to get you excited, right?
Yeah, even like not even just the recruiting class. I mean, like you said, but I think Donovan Edwards was bumped up to a 5-star. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, you're right. He just did get bumped up to a 5-star.
But to have McCarthy, Edwards, Worthy all come in on offense among other guys, and then you know addressing needs on the staff. We got some pretty solid recruiters brought in. Mo Lingist, whatever his last name is already super hot in the recruiting trail. You know, we see some 4-star tackles come in on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it seems like they're going in the right direction to solve the problems that we saw last year. So I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm obviously excited. When I look at the grand scheme of things, and I think our record will be, 8-4, 9-3 I think it's fair to be expected. But as a Michigan fan, it should be expected that every year, right? So
I think that should be the low end, right?
Here we go.
I mean, well, it's 8-4. Dude. I don't know. That's not like you act like that's like a great season.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying like that's what we should expect.
Right. That's realistic.
That way you're not pissed off and upset every fucking year.
It is so funny too how I look at the schedule like at different times of the year. Like after the Minnesota game, I look at the schedule
Like, oh, 11-1.
7-1, 8-0 maybe.
Yeah.
Now I look at the 2021 schedule. I'm like, shit. Michigan State and East Lansing, even though they're supposed to be, I mean, they should be terrible, but you just never know. But then you have Washington, you've got to play Wisconsin, obviously Ohio State, Penn State. Like, I mean,
Minnesota,
you're not wrong.
I mean, are they going to be bad? Are they going to be good? Like, who knows?
Yeah, as a Michigan fan, you should be constantly reminding yourself of all the question marks on this whole staff, right? I mean, all the coaches, QB battles, who's playing defense at which position, who's playing running back, like what's the O-line look like literally questions abound
everywhere. And the funny thing too is, like, you look on social media now, like all the Michigan fans, like us included, I mean, like, we're normally part of that group, but a lot of people are like, oh yeah, 11-1, 10-2, let's go. I'm like, guys, do you not remember what just happened last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that. I mean, I would say like a 10-2 would probably be the ceiling, right? Like,
right. I think so.
Unless JJ McCarthy is a god, and if he comes in and is like a complete difference maker. I know. I'm not saying
Milton, who knows, right? Like, we don't even know who our fucking quarterbacks are.
Dude, you can put a futures bet in for JJ for Heisman.
Can you?
Can you already?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Probably.
If we could, that'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know. I just, God, it's annoying that we're already like talking about this.
We're already talking about this.
Fucking February.
But it is encouraging, I think, just to even that the schedule came out. There's 12 games on it. That's exciting, right? Four home games in September, perfect for tailgating.
That's true.
Bright spot.
Very true.
Big bright spot. That's all I really care about.
That's all that really matters.
Find the flag.
Find the flag, baby.
That's right, man.
So when you put the signing day that they just put together for 2021, and then you put together what Mo Linguist just did with landing the 2 4-star corners and maybe Will Johnson on the horizon, right? I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like, I mean, there is a little something to the hype train, right? And then you add Sharon Moore to the picture, and Mike Hart and Mike McDonald. We really haven't even seen him on the recruiting trail quite yet, but like, damn. I mean, how do you guys feel about all those guys now moving forward with the recruiting trail?
Dude, I love it. We have an excellent recruiting staff at this point. Like, say what you will about on the field, because there's a lot of question marks there for us right now, but like in terms of recruiting, dude, Sharon Moore. I mean, here's a short list of guys Sharon Moore has been involved in recruiting. Dax Hill, JJ McCarthy, Donovan Edwards, Giovanni El-Hadi, and AJ Henning. Like, those are all like some of our best players. So
yeah, love to see it.
The fact that he got held on and moved to O-line and co-offensive coordinator, like, I'm all for it, because if we can get more guys like that on the field, I'll pay you whatever you want.
Yeah, and I never knew that Sharon Moore played line in college at Oklahoma. And dude was fucking huge. I love it. He was
like 300 pounds.
Dude, talk about a glow up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still pretty sad about Warner though. So now he's going to FAU. FAU. That's weird. Is it not? Like, I felt like he did a pretty good job. Like, what? How is he going to go to, like is that FCS or?
No, FAU is it's where Lane Kiffin used to coach, man.
Yeah,
it's D1.
They're D1, but like, I don't know. I guess they're D1. I guess they're just group of 5, right? They're not.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but still, like, I would think Ed Warner did a pretty good job, right? So, what happened there? Is my question.
I don't know. Rumors flying around that maybe he said something, but who really knows?
Yeah, I have no answers. I think that they're just, I think he was just an unfortunate product of the team trying to go in a different direction, and they had to make some changes.
Good way to put it.
I can see that, but it's still like, upgrade. I think somehow you let go of a guy who we all thought was pretty damn good and we should throw the bag at, and then you ended up with, well, we'll see. Obviously, I don't know how Sharon Moore is at developing an offensive line, but in terms of recruiting, I mean, Sharon Moore is one of the top recruiters in the nation, right? So that it'll be interesting to see if that does look like an upgrade at the end of the day, and how him, Gaddis, and Mike Hart work together, and then obviously Harbaugh as the QB coach too.
Yeah, my hope was that this was all in the cards for Sharon Moore to begin with. Like I'm hoping that they brought him in to coach tight ends to get him more familiar with the offense and then move him to co-OC and O-line coach. But like, I also like look at the tight ends and I'm like, I don't know, you know, like to be fair, like Eric All was a very good blocking tight end, but he just couldn't catch. So.
Yeah. So maybe that bodes well for the offensive line. They're going to be really good blockers.
I'll take it.
We don't need them to catch anything, so we'll be up. Maybe we'll be all right. But I feel like what'll be interesting for me to see is how Josh Gaddis still fits into this mold with all these new guys moving around, right? So are we still confident in Josh Gaddis, or do we think he could like still get squeezed out somewhere? And I don't know how much is still on the back of Josh Gaddis here, even with Sharon Moore becoming co-OC, and with Harbaugh taking over the quarterbacks. Is Gaddis getting squeezed out between the two of those guys?
I mean, it almost kind of seems like it. That's what I'd say. I think this is what they should have done initially when they brought in Gaddis. They should have had him as like a co-OC, like obviously hindsight being 2020. They should have put him up as a co-OC with somebody else. And, you know, I mean, we've always kind of said we want to see Harbaugh as the QB whisperer, right? And we're finally going to see him as the QB coach, it sounds like. But it seems like he's getting squeezed out from my perspective. And obviously it depends a lot on what the offense does this year. And, you know, I mean, but behind the scenes, they'll know more than us, obviously, with Sharon Moore. Like if he's doing more of, you know, the successful things than Gaddis, I mean, we'll see what happens. But the offense needs to produce.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where this offense kind of goes and where Gaddis goes with Ron Bellamy stepping in as the wide receivers coach, right? So like, what are you going to be doing exactly, Gaddis? Like maybe he's going to be relegated to more of his position at Alabama, right? And just be like kind of a X's and O's play caller type of guy. And then Sharon Moore will be the on the field guy. I have no idea where this is going. But I mean, it's all up in the air at this point. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Well, I'm also interested because he was in the booth to start his career, and then they brought him down on the field, right, to be like more into it because couldn't get a feel. So now is Sharon Moore up in the booth telling him kind of what plays to call when Gaddis is down there, or is it the opposite? I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I do think that it'll help a little bit. I thought Gaddis was brought down on the field for that motivation, make sure guys are into it and things like that. Now with Mike Hart, Ron Bellamy, Sharon Moore, maybe you don't need him on the field all the time because those guys have the fire a little more than an Ed Warner does. And so I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see. I mean, the other question I had for you guys in terms of recruiting and like, yes, this staff will surely make a splash, but I mean, they've got a top 10 class already, right? Let's say they move from a top 10 to a top 5 class. Does that fix Michigan's problems? Or are there problems more in-game coaching or just, you know, winning the big game or things like that? I felt like it was, you know, recruiting is obviously huge, but recruiting didn't seem to be our biggest problem. We were a little bit like one notch below in Ohio State, obviously, right? But does adding these guys and getting us to a top 5 class, does that put you over the edge to be competitive with Ohio State? or do you need more in terms of in-game and culture and that shit too?
100%. Bringing in bigger recruits will 100% help you in college football, no matter what, just because I think that gives you a little bit of like, you don't have to worry about as much of in-game coaching and all that. Like you can rely on the talent, where if you're not saying that 4-star guys can't get it done or even 3-star guys, but when you've got all this 5-star talent, you see, I mean, look at Johnny Manziel. Like you get a stud like that, just running around the field and making plays on his own. Like that's not in-game coaching, right? Like that's just a guy making plays. So I think if Michigan could compete with Ohio State recruiting, it definitely gives them a hell of a lot of a better chance to start winning these games.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes it exceptionally hard with Ohio State is like they have such a level of buy-in with their program that like it makes it hard for us to compete. Like I don't know if you guys realize, I don't think Ohio State had any transfers this offseason. So that makes it really hard when you're recruiting at such a high level and nobody transfers. So you're retaining all that talent. There's nobody's leaving.
Hey, you know what that is? That's like Bama.
Right.
Like
and
you convince the guys to stay because it's like, all right, you'll get your time and you're gonna win. And kids are just like, okay, deal.
Right. And it's like we can recruit good talent, right? But then guys leave. And I think that's a huge problem for us. So we need to retain talent, but we also need to elevate the talent that we're recruiting. And I think we're taking those steps and they realize that. So if we do meet that threshold and start bringing in good talent and then retaining it, then it becomes developing that talent. And if we can do all those 3 things, then we can compete with Ohio State. But that's kind of asking a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's easier said than done. You just said if they can do the exact formula to to win a national championship, then they'll be good. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, I think they are taking the steps, but I don't know. Like to me, these guys are all proven recruiters. Are they proven developers of that talent? And I think that's the biggest difference is when Ohio State and Alabama get a 5-star guy or a 4-star guy, they turn that guy into an All-American, right? And Michigan has had the All-Americans here and there, the Devin Bushes, the Jabril Peppers, but it's here and there. It's not 1 or 2 or 3 every year like an Ohio State has, right? And so that's where I think the difference is. So that's where I'm a little hesitant to just think, okay, taking Michigan from a top 10 to a top 5 recruiter, is that really going to put them over the edge? I think there's a lot more to it. I definitely think the culture is there too. And then how do you go from a team where Dylan McCaffrey, as soon as he doesn't get the job, transfers to an Alabama where Tua and Jalen Hurts are battling it out in the freaking national championship game, and they're both NFL quarterbacks, right? Like, how do you get to that level? I think is, and again, we're comparing Michigan to Alabama, which is ridiculous, but that's the goal, right? So I think that's, Michigan's been right below that, right? So that's the next level to me. Or I mean, I feel like Michigan and Penn State in the Big Ten are both right there, right? But they can't get over that hump. Penn State had 1 year where they did it. Michigan 2016 should have been the year. 2018 should have been the year, but they couldn't do it. So what's going to take you over that level? And I don't know. Like you said, there's a formula out there, but it's easier said than done for sure.
Did you guys see that Alabama had like the greatest draft class or recruiting class
class all time
of all time?
Did they really?
That's such an unreal
just get richer
stat.
and richer, man.
Well,
Dude, that's literally like Wall Street billionaires just like raking in dough. It's unreal.
I did see some stat. I can't remember the exact stat, but it was something like 35 of the top 50 recruits went to 4 teams. And it was Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and like Oklahoma or some shit like that. Like it was ridiculous where like this is the whole thing about parity in college football, right? And it's like, it's not going to change unless these, those 4 schools just keep, like you said, the rich get richer. It's nobody else is going anywhere else. So all these other teams have like one-off years, but they aren't building something continuously. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how you get into that level. You pay more? I don't know. It a little bit seems like all of a sudden these new guys came in and we started dropping bags. Those corner commits came so fucking fast, man.
Yeah, Harbaugh's like, fuck it, do whatever we have to do.
What if he did though? I wouldn't put it past him. He was like, fuck these guys. We can't compete. He's said it, right? He's came out and said you can't compete with the cheaters, right? And he was alluding to the SEC, and I'm assuming to Ohio State as well. And so what if he was just like, you know what? I can't get it done doing it the clean way. Fuck it. Let's go pay him.
Love it.
I don't care. I don't give 2 shits.
I want to see Harbaugh out there with some Happy Meals talking to these recruits, man.
Ooh.
Do whatever it takes.
Dude, what we really need to do is we need to get a Chick-fil-A in Ann Arbor and then get whatever the equivalent of a Chick-fil-A Happy Meal.
There
and
you
then
go.
Recruits just be flowing in.
Oh, it'd be beautiful.
I love it. Love it. So what else do we want to touch on here? So the schedule is out. We talked about the commits and the recruiting class. We talked about some of these coaches. Let me ask you this. What's one coach, if you had to pick one coach that you're very excited for to see develop guys, recruit, on field, all that stuff? Who's your favorite for, like, you think he's going to be the shining star?
I mean, got to be Mo, right? As far as recruiting, I'm excited to see what he can do, if he can continue what he's doing. But, I mean, then obvious number one after that for me would be Mike McDonald. What's he going to do? How's the defense going to look this year?
I think that's an awesome answer because I'm really curious for Mike McDonald too. But I'm going to go with Jim Harbaugh just because QB's most important position on the field.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh, this is your time to shine and like literally silence the naysayers and turn one of these guys into like literally the next Andrew Luck. So let's go for that.
No, I'm all in on that too. I'm all in. I think both of those are good answers because how does Jim Harbaugh make a difference, right? He's like you said, how is he going to come in and put these QBs that you've got the talent, obviously. In that QB room, there's got to be one of them that can get the job done, right? And play at least, because all we've said is you need a little bit above average QB, right? Shea Patterson he was there. He was pretty much there. If you can take one of those guys to a little bit of the next level, whether it's Cade, JJ, Joe, Dan Villari,
Dan Villari, baby.
I don't know. We'll see. But
I got to respond to Linda on Twitter.
I know, Linda. Why Dan Villari? But also I'm very intrigued by Mike McDonald. What kind of defense is he? I mean, that's going to be all the talk is what kind of defense is he going to come in and run? How does he use the guys that he has? How does he prepare? Like, I mean, are we running man all the time again? Are we going to run a zone? Are we blitzing nonstop? What's going on there? I would love to know how he's going to handle all that.
Yeah, I mean, if rumors are anything, the Ravens, I think they ran like a 4-3. So maybe look for something like that.
I want a little bit of change, right? I think I want something change. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't want him to come in and blow the whole thing up, but I also just don't want to see. I love blitzing, but I don't want to see the same exact thing. So we'll see how that goes. So, all right, on to basketball though for a little bit here. Thank God. Give it 5 days left, 6 days left, and we're back to finally seeing Michigan basketball. It's been 3 weeks now. It's felt like an eternity.
Jesus.
But
So wait, I know that they postponed the game, but have they announced that they're coming back and playing Like, what's going on there?
It sounds like they're on track for at Wisconsin on Sunday, the 14th, right?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So they ended up postponing the Illinois game, which is on Thursday.
Right.
But they are coming back and they're gonna play against Wisconsin. So they started like conditioning, individual conditioning or something this past week. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday they started that. Nothing team wise yet, but they're going to start team practices, I believe, this week, and that so that they can like ramp up and get ready for Sunday against Wisconsin. So, so hopefully that goes well.
Are they going to reschedule any of these games? I don't know if you've heard about that or not.
I haven't heard anything on rescheduling, but I want to ask your guys' thoughts. Should they reschedule? Like, if Michigan's on pace, if there's no requirement for them to win the Big Ten, if they don't have to reschedule these games, does it make sense to just like pile back end their schedule, play a shit ton of games, exhaust this team, and like right before a Big Ten tournament or an NCAA tournament? Like I'm okay with. Obviously, I would love to play MSU at Chrysler, but I'm okay with just like missing out on some games rather than them just like trying to plug in these games every little chance they get and like double up, and then you're maybe in a bad spot with injuries, exhaustion, like you don't have fresh legs going into tournament time, all that stuff.
Yeah, with the way Michigan's playing right now, there's no way, no reason for them to add in games. No, let's say they go on a huge losing streak and they need to get their win percentage up, then I'd say, all right, do whatever they have to do. But I don't think that they'd be searching to go out and reschedule these games unless they absolutely had to like win the conference or something like that.
Yeah, Ro, the way you put it, I'm like, that makes total sense. I don't want them to be tired out before going into the tournament. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's like, I saw Ant Wright put it out there. Brendan Quinn put some stuff out there of like how they could make things up, and like Brendan Quinn even put something out there like to end the season, you go back-to-back days against MSU, one in Ann Arbor, one in East Lansing. I'm like, why? Like, yeah, we want to. I want to see Michigan basketball as much as possible, but like, if the goal is to win the Big Ten and then go out and if they are playing a Big Ten tournament, go out, win that, and win an NCAA tournament, I don't give a shit about making up these extra games. Like, I go back to Big Ten football too. They weren't making up games for Big Ten football, and they put Ohio State as the Big Ten champ. So why should they treat Michigan any different?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't have a lot to say, but yeah.
I know. I am very excited to watch them come back here. It feels. I'm just hoping. What I'm super scared of is like, will they like come out not ready again? I'm pretty scared. Do you think that they're going to come out just as hot, or are they going to come out in a little bit of a slump?
I think they'll pick up, right? Because I mean, they had a break before, right, where they shut down for a little bit. They had to postpone a couple games and came back. Or maybe it was just like one game against Penn State.
Yeah, it was the other teams. Yeah, but I think it was only just one game at a time. Yeah.
I'd like to think and hope that they're going to come back right where they left off. But I mean, there's always that chance when you take this much time off and other teams have been playing that, there's a little bit of a, I don't know what you want to call it, but, they're going to slow down a little bit. So I'm hoping for the best, but I wouldn't be shocked if they have a bad game or two coming out.
Yeah, I think, what do you call it? Like for a boxer, like ring rust, right? Like I think they'll have a little bit of that, but not like crazy. So I think they'll still be good, and I think they'll still be competitive, but maybe expect a little bit of that kind of, time off.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just them getting their legs back, getting back into game shape, and then just getting back into a rhythm, right? Of shooting those shots in game time. I don't know what they were doing like during this time off. There's no way they were just like sitting at home, right? Like they were probably getting shots up somewhere, whether it was at Chrysler or somewhere else. But
Right.
yeah, like I would hope that they would be. So hopefully that they can get into it quicker than usual. But I also don't like them coming from 3 weeks off and first game is on the road in the Kohl Center at Wisconsin. Like,
Yeah. Tough game to come back for.
Yeah.
I mean, would it have been better to come back against Illinois? Right. I mean, it's like 2 tough games.
You either play a top 10 team at home or you play a not so great team, but it's at Wisconsin where they are, normally they win like 95% of their games at home, right?
Like I can see that like a Minnesota game. Like we blew them out at Chrysler, but then we go to Minnesota and they take care of business. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can get it together. Damn, I'm just happy for them to be back. I feel like this is a weird thing to say. I've just felt a little off since they've been not playing. Like life is not complete,
Yeah, it feels like empty, right? Like I'm just like, where's the basketball? It's just like asking myself every day.
It's like it's sad, right? Like I feel like I'm like, holy shit, am I really that dependent on Michigan athletics? but it does fulfill some it's something to look forward to twice a week. It makes the week go by quicker at work. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I've got. I don't know. You guys got anything else to touch on here?
I do want to bring up we just saw this tweet. Ben Van Summeren, what is he? I don't know how tall he is, but 250 with a 42.5-inch vertical.
I just saw him he just slid in our Instagram DMs and was like, hey, can you guys post this or something like that?
Well, it was the guy from Wolverine Sports TV, Seivert. He sent it to us asking, like, I guess Ben wanted us to put it up, so I put it up. And then he shared it. But I hit him up. I was like, hey man, we gotta get you on the pod sometime. He could have been the wide receiver 1 that we were missing with Nico Collins, man. Put him in the end zone, let him jump for it.
Throw it up to the big.
Talk about matchup nightmare. Holy crap.
42.5-inch vertical at 250 pounds.
That's insane.
That
Put him a tight end. Put him a tight end.
What we haven't done in a long time is a 0 to 90.
Let's go for
All
it.
right.
I don't really have any hot takes, but I'll think of one on the fly.
We know you're good for it.
All right, I've got one. All
right, I'll get you.
Do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
Yeah, let's.
I'll go whenever.
He said,
"Hey, most definitely."
He just said, "Most definitely." Ben Van Sumeren coming on the pod soon. He's trying to up his draft stock. It sounds like so.
Hey, hell yeah!
As most people know, you come on Blue by 90, your draft stock is going up.
Moon.
Yeah.
Just like the stocks to the moon, baby.
To the moon.
Oh my
God. Dogecoin. Is it Doge?
Doge.
Dude, I have no idea.
Dogecoin.
I call it doggy coin.
Doggy coin.
That's even better, dude.
To the fucking moon.
Oh my goodness. All right, who's going?
I think you should start us off. You got something hot here.
Yeah, get me in get my vibes going the right direction.
All right.
Kalen,
your 0 to 90 starts now.
Okay, we did not touch on this, but this is the most important college football news of your entire life. College football for the video game is coming back. Buy whatever system that you need. I don't care what it is. What I want from that, I want it to like consume my entire life. So I'm like, come up with an app where it like calls me and I have to like talk to recruits at work and be like, yo, come to my school, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is the greatest shit you've ever been to, whatever. I want to sell people to my game, Blue by 90.
Dude, I like that. What I hope for the most for this game is they don't change really anything from 14 It just has updated rosters, better graphics. Makes your Road to Glory is like sweet like it was, and don't turn it into Madden. If they turn it into Madden, I'll be fucking pissed.
Yeah, no, don't turn it in, man.
But way to bring that up. That is huge news that we did not touch on.
Here's what I also want. And I actually saw this. I saw a couple former Michigan players tweeting about it. Like, we need, what was it? 2014 was the last one, right?
Yeah, with Denard.
I know. First of all, once again, everything's coming up Michigan except for actually wins. Like, somehow it comes back to Michigan every time of Denard on the cover. But first of all, it doesn't seem like it's been 7 years. Like, that is a long
Pretty
time.
wild.
But I want to see like the 2016 team.
Yeah.
2016 Michigan back on NCAA would be dominant, dude.
Ooh. Yeah, just like 2K has the like old teams.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be
That would
like
be
I would
sweet.
love to watch. I would love to see if they like could have at least like a version of those teams for the last 7 years on there. But I think they did say they were like, oh, they aren't going to have them anything like the real teams because they're trying to avoid obviously another lawsuit or something like that.
And ultimately, like when you're doing Road to Glory too, like the all the players are completely different than the actual players. So like in the grand scheme of things, like whatever. I think everybody's gonna be so happy that it's back. But yeah, if they can bring back like the 16 Michigan Wolverines team or like fucking all those Oklahoma Sooners teams that were like dominant for the past like 3 years with like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield. I mean, that would be really cool. Because it sounds like it's not going to be out till like 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, that would be sweet. Yeah,
I
Kyler
can't
Murray
wait.
would be a fucking cheat code.
It'd be like
100%.
Mike Vick in 04.
What do you think? Is Shea Patterson sweet on that game like Johnny Manziel or what do we think?
I think he's like a 93 overall.
93?
Yeah.
Pretty solid. I say that's fair.
Shit. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean shit. That would be legit. So all right, I'm ready for mine too. That was a good one. That was a really good one, Caleb. We didn't touch on that.
All right. Ro, your 0 to 90 starts now.
All right, here's my prediction for Michigan basketball. They're coming back. Everyone is going to be saying exactly what we just said, where we were saying, oh, are they going into a slump? They're going to come back slow. They may come back slow for a half. I think they pick right back up after that. They pound it to Hunter Dickinson. Nate Reavers isn't going to do shit against Hunter Dickinson. So it's same outcome as the first one. They're going to dominate Wisconsin. Here's my bold prediction. I still think that Michigan ends the regular season with one loss in the Big Ten. They are going undefeated for the rest of the time, even with the time off. They've been licking their chops trying to get back on the court. They're ready to go. Juwan has been having them do. They've been shoveling the driveway, and getting shots up, even in the snow. They've been out at the in the IM buildings and stuff like that. So, one loss, Big Ten champs, Michigan basketball school. Shirts coming soon.
I like that. I saw UMich Tees got on it. They've got their basketball school hoodies and shirts out.
You did throw that up there.
I like shit, dude. I'd love to see Hunter Dickinson come out and kind of like dominate like he did in the beginning of the year. I mean, Michigan's playing well, so like whatever. If he doesn't, like, that's okay too. But I'd kind of like to see him bounce back to put up some numbers like he did early on. Because I feel like he kind of slowed down a little bit.
I'd love to see him wearing a big Dickinson Energy sweatshirt too.
That'd be amazing.
I feel
Just
like
wear it underneath the jersey.
hoodie Mellow, hoodie Hunter.
I feel like the secret's out on him a little bit, so he gets, guarded pretty well. But
that's true.
I want to see him. Yeah, I want to see him ball out.
That's true.
All
right, Jack, you gonna finish this up here?
We'll see what I got.
Your 0 to 90 starts now.
All right, I'm relying on Dr. Fauci here. Sounds like we might get herd immunity by the end of the summer, early fall, which means tailgating might be able to be back in full force. That's what I'm hoping for. It's my hot take. That's what I'm going to believe in, that we're going to be back. and be able to tailgate. Maybe not as crazy as normal, but we'll still be able to have a good time and people on the golf course. It'll be fun. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, we're getting crazy.
I'm just thinking about tailgating 24/7 all year long.
Let's be honest here. It's February. I have thought about tailgating way too much over the past couple weeks here. The schedule came out, like you said, it was 4 games in September, and I'm just like, all right, well, let's start planning now, I guess.
Dude, I cannot wait. I'm getting that flag made. I'm gonna hang it in the basement, and then we'll bring it out to tailgates, and you people just find the flag, and we'll be having a grand old time.
Perfect.
I cannot wait to have listeners come out and party with us. That's going to be honestly so much fun because I think it's just going to be people coming from all over, wearing shirts and shit. It'll be awesome.
Well, it's going to be even better than that because they're really just going to show up and be like, yeah, you guys are full of shit.
We're like, yeah, that's right.
They're going to show up and be like, these are the fucking losers I've been listening to this entire time. Oh my God, it's 9:15. Rose passed out on the fucking grass on the golf course.
They may not know shit about sports, but they sure like to drink.
That's what this podcast is all about, right? Shit.
Man.
All right, you got me pumped up now. I'll go start planning the tailgates now.
Perfect.
So, all right, sounds good. Well, that was our show for today. We will get this out here pretty soon, and hopefully we'll have some feedback after Sunday too. 1 o'clock game on Sunday, right, for Michigan. So there's I don't know what we can watch other college football, obviously, but or college basketball, I mean, but there's no football on anymore. NFL's done. I need Michigan basketball back in my life. So 1 o'clock Sunday, maybe we'll do a post game podcast or something like that. We'll see. But follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, at Blue by 90 podcast on YouTube as well. Follow Shield Tweets. Follow Shield Tweets on Twitter. Putting out some fire tweets. We'll see.
I don't tweet much, but when I do, I like to think it's pretty decent.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. For sure, dude. You're really good at it.
I'm learning the Twitter sphere.
In the Twitter sphere. All right. We'll see you guys next time.